Hello guys, so welcome to the weekly current affairs for Indian economy. Now, in this lecture, we will look at 5 most important news with respect to economy in the last 1 week. Right. So the very first thing is about the 10 years of government e-marketplace, GEM, the government e-marketplace. Now see, a lot of analysis with respect to a lot of things is coming in your current affairs because a lot of schemes are celebrating 10 years. Some of the things are celebrating 12 years have been over. So analysis and all are coming. So these kind of articles are becoming really important. These will be specifically important for your mains examination, the upcoming mains, and even the mains 2027 as well. So first is the government e-marketplace. What is this e-marketplace? Of course, it is an online digital marketplace of the government. We will see in detail, majorly we will see the performance of this government e-marketplace. Then you have the container manufacturing assistance scheme. What is this container that we are talking about? This is the container that is loaded on the ships for the transportation of goods. So this is with respect to the shipping industry. India is going to manufacture containers. So there is a scheme for that which we will have a look at. So shipping industry is the manufacturing of ship, the scrapping of ship, and this particular scheme also is very important. They have been in news prevalently in the last few months. Remember, India is the top player when it comes to scrapping of ships, right? Over 1/3 of the ship scrapping is done by India, but when it comes to building ships, India lags way behind. So remember that these are important. Next, the government has approved polymer banknotes for field trials. So we will see what are the polymer notes, why are we thinking of using polymer notes, which are the notes included in the field trials, reasons for that, all this and much more in this topic. Then we have Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Bill 2026. So the mines and minerals, they are governed by certain laws. Not just that, the people working in the mines and mineral domain, basically they also have certain rights, certain development rights, and all that is included in this particular act, which is now being amended. So we have the amendment bill which has been placed. So this amendment bill is what we are going to discuss. And finally, we will look at empowering government through digital infrastructure. So this is again very important for your mains, because there will be a complete analysis of how the government can be empowered through the digital infrastructure that we have or we should have in the coming years. So let's get started with the very first news, that is 10 years of government e-marketplace. Now the very first question that should come here is, what is government e-marketplace? See, marketplace. First of all, what is a marketplace? A place where you go and buy goods and services, that is a marketplace. Now, generally we think of a marketplace as a physical structure wherein there will be a physical structure where you will go, everyone will be sitting there to sell their goods, and then you will go and buy the goods from there. But now we are in a digital age, in the age of internet, digitalization, internet, etc. As a result of which you will have e-marketplace. Like for example, you have e-commerce. In the same manner, e-marketplace, that means the marketplace which is online, which is having an online platform, which is a digital marketplace. And you are talking about government e-marketplace. That means it is that digital marketplace which is used by the government for purchasing goods and services for themselves. And it is a unified one. Unified one means it need not be scattered. You know, government e-marketplace is everything at one place. See, what is the case with us? Let's say, just imagine that if you want to buy shoes, you need to go to other website. Socks, another website. Shirt, another website. Trousers, another website. Goggles, another website. Food, another. Right? It will become so difficult. So you unify it. Keep it all at one place. So let's say you log on to Amazon. You'll find so many things there. You want vegetables, now that is also available on the same app. So what happens? This becomes a unified digital marketplace, so that everything will be available at the same place, single window system. So that makes it easier as well, right? Now, in the same manner, the GeM, government e-marketplace, is nothing but a unified digital platform for the government purchases that are being done. Now, what benefit does it have? Of course, it will make the procurement paperless. No paper trail, no hard copy of the bill, everything is online. It makes it cashless, no need for cash, contactless. You don't have to go there and be physically present. At the ease of or comfort of your office, you can purchase things. Transparent also, because it is known to everyone, it's not happening in secret as such. And of course, it is competitive. When more players can join on the platform, then it will become more competitive. This is the idea. Now, the core idea for having a government e-marketplace is to reduce the manual process and discretion by use of digital procurement. Human intervention, you reduce it. When you reduce human intervention, everything is happening online, the payment is also online. So one more thing is going to happen is that the corruption is going to go down, should go down, leakages should go down. This is what is government e-marketplace and its significance. Now the question is, how does this GEM, it's a gem of a thing, actually it is a very good thing. How does it work? Now it has end-to-end digital procurement, right? End-to-end digital procurement means, let us understand this over here. So here there is a buyer here is the government, right? Now this is the government e-marketplace platform, GEM. Now what happens is, seller. Now the buyer, that is the government, will have to reach out to each and every seller, which is difficult. Why the government should reach out to each and every seller? One seller is enough? No, they need to cross-check the price. They need to compare the price, compare the quality. All those things are required. So the government will have to reach out to hundreds of players, tens of players at least for the same thing. But these tens of players will also be registered on the GEM platform. You might have used Amazon for buying things, but you can also use Amazon for selling things. You can become a registered seller on Amazon. When you're buying on Amazon, you're not necessarily buying from Amazon. There are sellers who are registered on Amazon who are selling the products from their side. So it's coming from their warehouses, not necessarily Amazon's warehouses. Now some of it Amazon is also owning, so some of it would be from Amazon's warehouses, but you get the point that it's the sellers' warehouses where it is coming from. So hundreds and thousands of sellers would register themselves on the GEM portal, and the buyer, that is the government, simply have to come to this portal, see what they want and buy it. This is end to end. This is basically what is mentioned here is end-to-end digital procurement. I have told you, sellers are there. See, they also need buyers. They are also benefited. Why they are benefited? They also need buyers. Now, this one seller will have to reach out to so many buyers. Makes it difficult. So what do? You register yourself on the government e-marketplace. So hundreds of sellers are registered on the government e-marketplace. Their products are displayed. Now the government wants it. The government can see it. Transparency, ease of payment, cashless, then paperless, etc. This is end-to-end system wherein seller registration will take place. When the seller registers, then they can list the products that they are going to sell. So listing of the product, right? Then over here the bidding and procurement will take place. You will bid the amount at which you want the particular price, and then the seller will decide whether to sell or not. Now why bidding? Simply there can be a cost, end of story. Bidding, because see, understand that when you are buying something from from Amazon, for example, you're buying shoes. You buy one shoe, one pair of shoes, or you might buy two maybe, right? Government buys in bulk. That bulk can vary. So the government should get lower price, subsidized price, because it's in bulk. Of course, the seller can also put that price, right? But since it's bulk and since there can be certain more consideration of subsidization or incentivization or discounts, that is why the bidding type of process takes place, wherein the highest bidder would basically get the price, or from the government's perspective, the one who sells it cheap will get the price. So what will happen is, the government is going to basically say, this is what I need. Whoever bids the lowest price to supply that good, the government gets it from them. That is what is meant by this. And then contract would be awarded to that person, then the person would fulfill the order and digital payment will take place over here. This is how the system works end to end. Why it matters? Digital records will be there. Everything is automated. Human intervention is not there. It's there to an extent, but it's less. Everything is online. Everything is transparent. So this really helps. Now let us understand. So I have explained you the entire concept of it. Now let us understand the quantum, the quantity, the data about it. This you can quote in your mains answers. So 1.37 lakh government buyer organizations are there. These many buyer organizations. Don't think of the government only as the parliament. Any government or government-owned entity, a PSU, a public sector bank, a public sector enterprise, a public sector unit, Maharatna, Miniratna, Navaratna, Miniratna category 1, 2, all these are present. And you have 25 lakh sellers and service providers. 20 lakh crore plus of cumulative procurement. Cumulative means total procurement as of now has happened, not yearly. In the last I think how many 10 years, in the last 12 years, this is what has, in the last 10 years, this is the procurement that has happened. 10,660 product categories, 350 service categories. What does it cover? It covers the central, the state government, PSUs, as I said, autonomous bodies, local bodies, panchayat, cooperatives, anything, either the government or the government entity is covered over here. Of course, the procurement is data driven. You will have the available report, who is selling at what price, what is the increase in price, so on and so forth. Past transaction is available, last purchase price is also available, the fluctuation of the price is also available, price trend analytics, fluctuations, etc. will all be available, which makes the process simpler, easier, and also very transparent, and it creates efficiency. The procurement is also inclusive. Why it is inclusive? Because MSMEs are also selling on it, right? So, and MSMEs are also basically selling on it. So 11 plus lakh MSMEs, 51 lakh plus orders for the MSMEs. That means MSMEs are also selling on this platform. So the government is buying from MSMEs. MSMEs are registered over here, and 51 lakh plus orders have been placed by the government for this MSMEs. So this is inclusive procurement. 2.36 lakh crore of procurement has been done. Expands access to small businesses. So micro, small and medium enterprises will also be helped. In addition to that, women-led enterprises are also prominent over here with 2.1 lakh plus. Women-led MSMEs are present on the portal with around 28,000 crore of procurement. Same is the case with SC/ST enterprises, having 6,000 plus crore of procurement done. With respect to startups, 19,000 crore plus of procurement has been done from startups as well. That means startups has sold this much amount of goods to the government. That is the idea. So you can clearly see the impact is definitely there. Now beyond procurement, what all are there? So you have Swayat. Now this is basically promotes participation of startups, women, youth, MSMEs and SHGs on digital market. What is this Swayat? Startups, women, youth advantage through e-transactions. You know, this is to promote them also as entrepreneurs. Then you have women entrepreneurs and women self-help groups is called as the Womania scheme that is there. Then you have the Saras collection. It connects the rural SHG with the government buyers. Okay. Now these things have been in news. We have covered the scheme Womania, etc. Please go through them as well separately. Startup Runway 2.0. This is a platform for innovative startup products. Startup Runway 2.0, and then GeM Sahay. Basically, Sahayata or Sahay means to help. So collateral-free working capital for eligible sellers. So here, what help does the government do? Basically, it provides you collateral free loan. That means loan without any mortgage. Okay, I hope this is clear. Is there any doubts? Please ask. Let's move on to the next news, that is about container manufacturing assistance scheme. Now what is the scheme? So you might have seen big ships. On those ships are placed the containers. These are basically the containers that you would see on the ship, right? This scheme is about, or with respect to the manufacturing of these containers. They are huge, right? So what's the scheme? When was it announced? Announced in budget 26-27. right? So what is the outlay? 10,000 crore rupees over a period of 5 years. Important to remember. Another thing, 10,000 crore rupees outlay, we have done it in previous current affairs lecture. Stand Up India 2.0, in that the fund is also of 10,000 crore rupees. So you should, exact number is not important, but the UPSC is asking. In fact, years also used to not be important, but now UPSC is asking what is the time period. They have asked in 2026, so it's okay if you remember. The numbers are also very easy over here. What is the aim? To build globally competitive domestic container manufacturing facility. Now, will we be able to do that very immediately? No, because right now we are far back, but somewhere we have to start. This is that start. Okay. So let us see the key features of the scheme. First of all, the capacity expansion. It will lead to capacity expansion. New greenfield. What is greenfield manufacturing facilities? Greenfield means greenfield manufacturing facility. Greenfield means a project which is starting from scratch. There is nothing has been done. It is starting from scratch. That's a greenfield project. So here the government will have greenfield manufacturing facilities. There is no need to write actually new over here. In the article it was mentioned, but greenfield means itself means that it's a new project. It is starting from scratch. Then expansion of existing brownfield units. Brownfield, again, of brownfield. Existing, there is no need. Brownfield projects are the projects which already exists. Okay? So expansion of brownfield projects. Then financial support. For that, what will be there? Capital assistance. What's the target? That is important. Target is around 7.9 lakh ton equivalent units. What is TEU? Please remember, TEU is tons equivalent unit. This is the production we want to have. This will be nearly 10 times the existing capacity that we have right now. Now, why domestic container manufacturing? Simply because the trade volume via ship is huge. So the requirement of the container is huge, right? So instead of importing the container, someone else making for ourselves, why not let's make it ourselves, right? It creates more efficiency. Also, with the Strait of Hormuz being closed and all these issues coming, we do need more efficiency in the shipping, because insurance premiums are high. The cost of transportation through the sea routes is higher because of this uncertain world. At least somewhere we will save some cost. So that is also the idea. Containerized cargo accounts for 2/3 of international trade value. 2/3 means 66.67%. India, we import around 2 million empty containers annually. This is too much, right? Rising manufacturing and EXIM trade. Why is it happening? EXIM is what? Export import. Because of that, we need containers. So let's prepare our own. This will be what? Atmanirbharta. We will become Atmanirbhar in containers. That is what we should strive for. Atmanirbhar means self-dependent, not dependent on others. Okay? And of course, with this, you club it with other things that we have. We will have an integrated maritime ecosystem. Right? So first, let's look at the container thing. Bharat Container Shipping Line. MOU have been signed February 26. These are the institutions that are involved. Right? What is proposed? Investment of 99,000 crore rupees. 51 container vessels supporting ecosystem. PM Gati Shakti will be used for that. PM Gati Shakti is a platform for managing the different projects. Let's talk about a wider maritime transportation. So India is also, the news was that only about the container, but I have linked it with other things that is happening in the shipping industry. So 70,000 crore rupees of shipbuilding assistance package has also been is also going to be provided for shipbuilding. As I said, in India, in shipbuilding is at a very low level. However, for ship scrapping, we are at a higher level. Now, India's first indigenous EXIM container was rolled out in July 2026 at Dadri. This fact becomes really very important. The place where it was rolled out, Dadri. Where is Dadri? Dadri in Uttar Pradesh. Who manufactured it? Moller Maersk. However you may pronounce it, Moller Maersk. It was compliant with Indian standards as well as the international standards also. Very important to know. I hope that's clear. Yes. Any questions, guys? Let's move on to the next news. The next news is about the government approving polymer banknotes for field trial. Now remember, this concept of polymer banknotes is not a new one. In India itself, it has been there over a decade and a half back. In the other parts of the world, starting from Australia, Canada, they already use this polymer notes that is already there. So the question is, why are we wanting to do this? Right, so let's understand in detail, then we will look at what all is written. So first of all, what is the news? See, over a decade and a half back, we thought that yes, let us use polymer notes. Now that requirement, that voices drew down, and we never did it. Now again, those voices as in the decision or the thought is coming to the government, let us use polymer notes. So first, what are polymer notes? So to understand that, let's understand what is a polymer. Polymer basically are long chain compounds. Basically, in simple terms, these are like plastic notes. That is what we are thinking of using. Right. Now, why to use polymer notes? By the way, which notes do we use as of now? Anyone who knows, please comment as to which notes do we use now. We use the 100% cotton paper based notes. Now, what's the issue with that? See, the issue with that is its shelf life. If you use polymer notes, its shelf life is more, right? It is 4 to 5 times it's going to last longer than the 100% cotton paper based notes. The initial cost of production or manufacturing or printing will be slightly higher. It will be, let's say, 1.6 times the cost of a cotton paper, 100% cotton paper based notes. But its shelf life is 4 times more. It's not 4 times more, it's 4 times. So cost is 1.6 times, even if you take 2 times, but the life is 4 times. So overall, we will have double the efficiency in the system. That is absolutely clear. Now, so why we need that lifetime higher? Because the cotton paper based notes have lower lifetime. That is why they are soiled, they are damaged, they are destroyed sooner. So they are brought back to the RBI. The RBI needs to replace them. So there is a huge printing cost on the RBI. So if polymer notes can last longer, the cost of printing of the notes for the RBI will go down. This will help. Second, it is more hygienic. The cotton based paper notes, they absorb moisture, etc., bacteria and all, which these this polymer notes will not do. Another thing is, in these polymer notes there can be high security things that can be embedded, which cannot be done in the paper notes. So this will give more security against the fake currency notes that are produced by people to destroy the economy or to make profits out of it. That also can be addressed over here. Because of these benefits, we are thinking of going with the polymer based notes. That is the idea. I hope that understanding is absolutely clear. Now the question is, why pilot? Of course, you need to run a pilot in order to see how it works. Actual question should be, why pilot with 20 rupees? Why the pilot with 10 rupees and 20 rupee notes? Simply because, see, the thing is, 10 and 20 rupee notes are most frequently changing hands. So they get soiled faster. That is why start with this. Also, 10 and 20 rupee notes do not come out of the ATM. You get 100, 200, 500. Now, though, even 2000 is not coming out, of course, because that is being taken back. Has it been demonetized? Absolutely not. It's still a legal tender, but 2000 rupee note does not come out now. That is being taken back. But 500, 200, 100 notes do come out. 50, 20, 10 do not. And 10 and 20 are the most frequently exchanged. So they get soiled faster. So that is why we have taken 10 and 20 notes basically to pilot or to test this entire concept. That is what this article is all about. I hope that is clear, right? So the odds are in favor of proceeding with it. When the pilot is successful, we will have polymer notes. Okay, so what are polymer notes? I have already told you, biaxially oriented polypropylene. This is basically, understand, it's like a plastic note, right? Indian notes presently, I have told you, based on 100% cotton pulp paper, right? Polymer notes are used in 60 plus countries led by Australia. I have already given you the example. What are the advantages? I have told you. Absorption of moisture and all will not be there. Why? It will be water resistant, tear resistant. It's difficult to tear. It also more durable, hence approximately 2.5 to 4 times longer than paper notes. Difficult to counterfeit because you can have more security provisions inside it, so difficult to counterfeit as well. Transparent window and advanced security features can be embedded in it. Lower replacement frequency because it is lasting longer, as a result of which the life cycle cost will be reduced, the printing cost over a period of time will be reduced. Okay, so why are we considering this? Because we are already spending a huge amount, around 5,000 crore rupees every year to just print the notes, and around 20 to 24 billion notes get soiled or destroyed every year. That's why we are checking with the lower denomination, which wear out rapidly because they are more frequently traded. Okay, this is the timeline. So as I said, over a decade and a half, in 2009 RBI proposed 100 crore 10 rupee polymer notes. In 2012, pilot project was approved in Kochi, Mysuru, Jaipur, Bhubaneswar and Shimla. However, later shelved, means later it was not initiated or implemented. Now in 2026, again in around after 17 years, since the first time we were considering, 17 years after that, we are now considering it again. So as far as the manufacturing cost is concerned, of course, that is 30 to 60% higher. That means 1.6 times the cost will be needed, right? That is the thing, but it will have higher shelf life, so it will still benefit us. Okay. One thing that will be required is when the other notes are also polymer notes, the ATMs needs to be calibrated to dispense the polymer notes, because presently they are calibrated to dispense the cotton based notes. Okay. I hope that is clear. Now, this notes is an important topic wherein you also talk about physical currency and digital currency. Why not completely have digital currency? In the future we may. Right now there is already a digital divide. Internet, electricity, etc., our smartphone, etc., are not there everywhere with everyone. So all those concerns are there, as a result of which cash is still there. However, the UPI transactions or digital transactions are going up. However, the cash transactions are not going down by the same amount, because in certain sectors, in certain trade and in rural areas and elsewhere, cash is still prevalent. Why cash still matters? Currency in circulation exceeds, it's a huge amount. It's essential for informal economy, rural and remote areas, small merchants, emergencies, power network failure, etc. If it happens for emergencies, you still need to have it. That is why it is still prevalent. I hope that's clear. Any questions in this? Let's move on to the next article. The Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Bill 2026. Now the Parliament has passed this MMDRA bill. That is, MMDR is what you call, and it's an amendment bill. This is Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Bill 2026. Now, what is the objective of it? See, when it comes to mines and minerals development and regulation, the state government also has an important role to play. Now, because there are various states, various rules, various approaches, as a result of which there is a lot of unevenness, there is a lot of uncertainty. From state to state it varies, right? Now the government wants to bring, the government of India, the national government wants to bring uniformity in it, and the government of India wants to eliminate any kind of uncertainty from it. As a result of which the government of India has come up with the Amendment Bill 2026. So that is the objective: uniform and predictable fiscal framework for mining sector, right? So let's see what are the key provisions. First is about the union control, right? So this bill basically amends section 2 of the MMDR Act of 1957. And what does it do? It brings the mineral bearing lands under union regulatory control. Explicitly mentions mineral bearing lands will be under regulatory control. Now why do that? See, because what's happening is the government wants to restrict state levies on mineral rights and mineral bearing lands. When the mineral bearing lands are there, the state imposes more levies, etc., and collects that and keeps it with them, and also hampers the mineral operation, plus takes away all the revenue. Whereas and also this fluctuates from state to state, which is also an issue. To make it uniform and certain, the government is taking explicit control of the mineral bearing land under its ambit. Okay. Then so this basically section 2 has been amended, whereas a new section, that is section D, has been added. What is the section D? It basically prohibits the state from imposing any tax or cess or other levies on mineral rights or mineral bearing land. So the states, it does not mean that the state, see, the state will not get it. It does not mean that, right? It simply means that the national government or the government of India will have the control, right? It has been criticized saying that the power from the state government has been taken away. Yes, that is right. But will the state government not get any taxes, any levies, any cesses, etc.? No, that is not right. It simply is taken by the government of India, but the states will still be able to get the taxes and stuff. But who will decide that? The government of India. So the decision making power, you can say, has been taken back, but of course the states will be apprehensive, thinking that it may not get much of returns now, right? Now there is a concept of retrospective relief. Right, now the bill is coming now, but some of the states would have imposed some of the levies, taxes, penalties on previously, before this bill has come into picture. So this bill provides retrospective relief from a previous date. That means whatever unpaid or unrecovered past levies are there, they will be invalidated, and the levies that are already paid, that will not be refunded. Okay. So if you have any pending levy, it will be basically forgiven, or let's say it will be invalidated. But if you have already paid it, then it will remain as it is. As it is mean, it will not be refunded. Now let's look at the constitutional framework. Right. So with respect to constitutional framework, you have three types of list. One is the union list, then the state list, and then the concurrent list. The union list is the list of things on which only the government of India can make laws. State list on which the state governments make laws, and concurrent list on which both the union government and the state government can make laws. Now, if both the government makes laws on a concurrent list and the law is conflicting in nature, then what will happen is the union law will prevail. But there is a catch over here. The state law may prevail if the state brings in a law after taking the permission of the president, right? But even then, the government of India can bring another law to supersede the state law. That is also possible. So ultimately, it's the union government that wins. So in the union list, there is entry 54, which talks about regulation of mines, minerals, and development when the parliament declares such regulation expedient in public interest. If it is for public interest, then the government of India can do that. State list entry 23 says that mines and mineral development subject to the union legislation, so it can be done. Entry 50 says that taxation of mineral rights subject to limitations imposed by parliament. You have the rights, but subject to limitation imposed by the parliament. Entry 49 says that taxes on land and buildings, including mineral bearing land, is also included under the union list. So union government is well within its right to do what it is doing over here. What's the existing framework? What the center does, regulates major minerals and fixes the royalty rates. What the state does, grants mining leases, collect the royalty, largely regulate minor minerals is what it largely does. Now this particular thing about imposing taxes, etc., is taken by the government of India. There is a Supreme Court judgment precedence wherein Mineral Area Development Authority versus SAIL. What is SAIL? That is Steels Authority of India Limited. It was a 9-judge constitution bench which said with 8-1 majority that states have legislative competence to tax mineral rights under entry 50. So this is what the Supreme Court is saying. State can tax mineral bearing land under entry 49. They can, but under certain limitations imposed by the government of India. States can recover past tax dues from April 1, 2005 as well, it was said. So this is what the Supreme Court judgment said. Okay, now if you talk about the judgment versus the bill, the judgment recognizes states' taxation powers, but the bill restricts the state levies and invalidates certain unpaid past. You can see that Supreme Court said that the states can recover past taxes due from 1st April 2005, but the bill is certainly restricting to recover the past dues. So that is a conflict, you can say. What's the significance? This will of course provide tax certainty, uniformity, investment will grow because of uniformity and certainty. That is a good thing for this sector. But what are the concerns? Concerns is fiscal federalism. You need to take the states also together and decide unilaterally or imposing those states will be worried. State revenues might get hampered. Article 14, different treatment of paid and unpaid past levies may raise equality concerns. Why? See, some of them have not paid, some of them have paid. Those who have paid will not be refunded. Those who have not paid will no longer need to pay. So that is discrimination that can be treating people differently. That is the idea. So what's the way forward? There needs to be better center-state coordination. Critical mineral security needs to be ensured. Transparent and outcome-based development fund utilization needs to be there. Sustainable mining, and we also need to curb illegal mining. If illegal mining gets curbed, the revenue of the states, of the governments will anyhow increase. So that can definitely be done in this case. Plus sustainable mining, curb illegal mining, we have already seen this. Deep sea resources needs to be utilized and expand the exploration of polymetallic nodules, polymetallic sulfides, etc. in order to basically produce more, earn more, and have higher GDP, higher productivity, higher revenue, better fiscal health. That is the idea. Yes, guys. Any questions? Please ask. Else, let's move ahead to the next news, that is empowering governance through the digital infrastructure. Right? We recently marked our 80th Independence Day. Right? 79 years have passed, but the Independence Day was the 80th one. Right? So 80th Independence Day. Now, digital public infrastructure which we have, it has emerged as a key driver for governance of services, delivery of services, and for our economic opportunities. Right? So digital infrastructure plus digital public platforms plus digital services becomes what? Citizen-centric governance. Because you make it easy for people to access the services. You bring the services literally to the doorstep of the people. That is why it basically leads to citizen-centric governance. What are the key pillars for this? Connectivity, telecom, telephone networks, internet, 5G, faster internet, BharatNet project, right? Now, what is your digital identity? For digital identity, see, this is a article specifically for your mains which talks about various digital infrastructure which is there, right? So it is talking about the improvement of governance, empowering the governance through the digital infrastructure. That is why we will be talking about a lot of digital infrastructure. First is for digital identity, we have our Aadhaar card, Aadhaar number. Then for digital payments, we have UPI, that is Unified Payment Interface. For digital commerce, ONDC, GeM, which we have just now seen, Government e-Marketplace. For e-governance, you have DG Locker, you have Umang, you have CSCs, you have DBT, Direct Benefit Transfer, so on and so forth. So all these things are digitizing the world and bringing the services to us. Plus electronic manufacturing. So our electronic manufacturing has also considerably increased from 1.9 lakh crore rupees to 13.11 lakh crore rupees. Electronics exports have also increased considerably, has become 10 times. Employment, it nearly employs 25 lakh people over here. India is the third largest export category. Electronic goods are India's third largest export category, right? Then semiconductor ecosystem is also present. Semicon 2.0, wherein 1.27 lakh crore outlay is given by the government of India. So these are the things that we are doing. With respect to connectivity, our internet subscribers have increased from around 25 crore to over 100 crores now. So it has become 4 times. If you look at the 5G coverage, the available 5G coverage, 99.9% of the districts have, it's not 99.9% of the people, 99.9% of the district have the availability of 5G network, right? So these are some of the achievements or some of the things that we already have: digital connectivity, domestic electronic manufacturing. This leads to digital sovereignty. Digital sovereignty means it's like Atmanirbharta in the digital domain. You don't have to be dependent on someone else. You can basically take care of your own digital needs, is what is meant over here. Then you have the UPI and digital transfers as well. So UPI has played an important role. We are the global leaders. Nearly 50% of the global real-time payment transaction by volume, not value, by volume, because a lot of small transactions are also there. So by volume, of course, we are also the populous country, the most populous country. But along with that, because of the internet penetration and the availability of smartphone, it has been made possible. Okay. Around 55 crore plus users are there, 6.5 crore plus merchants are there, 731 banks are on the network. These are some important data or facts which you can use in your answers. Okay. Let's talk about now digital governance and citizen services. So 145 crore plus Aadhaar have been generated. Okay. Then DigiLocker, around 72 crore documents registered users are there. What is this? This is to store our documents. You can store it in digital locker. DigiLocker, it will be as good as the original document, right? 934 crore documents have been issued. It enables paperless governance, digital verification, so on and so forth, right? And then similarly, you have CSC, that is Common Service Centers, over 5.16 lakh plus common service centers. You want to get your Aadhaar updated, mobile phone updated in your Aadhaar, etc., various other services, you can get it done over here, right? Yes. This is also quite important because it is about specifically a section of the society, that is women. So women, basically, they constitute 70% of the workforce, right, with respect to the digital domain that we are talking about. Electronics manufacturing, we have seen that it has created huge amount of jobs, which is definitely there. However, there are certain challenges that still remain. See, this entire article was based on facts and data important for your mains to utilize, but even challenges and solutions are for mains specifically, not specifically, but generally, prevalently. Anyway, let's look at the challenges. First is digital divide. There's a divide between the urban area and the rural area. There's digital divide between genders also, between caste also, between religious base also, divide will be there. But you don't have to invoke these many, let's say features or criteria based on divide. Simply talk about rural-urban divide, regional disparities, gender division, all that is there. Then digital literacy is also low. Cyber security is a concern because you are prone to hacking, phishing, etc. Then data protection, the Data Protection Act, privacy is also a concern, as well as affordability, the device, the connectivity, the internet, etc. are also a concern. So what can be done? Universal and affordable connectivity. See, price is a concern, but for people like who are having low purchasing power in India, we do have low purchasing power. However, if you compare our internet price and all with the other countries, let's say for Dubai, I'm taking an extreme example over here. In Dubai, it is very costly. In India, comparatively, it is way cheap. But of course, we need to make it available to others as well with low purchasing power capacity also. We need to have digital literacy so that inclusion increases, right? Cyber security and data protection needs to be made resilient, more strong, and basically open interoperable architecture is what we need to have to further the inclusiveness when it comes to digital domain. I hope that's clear. Any questions, please ask, guys. Else, let's move ahead to the questions. Okay. First things first. With reference to the Container Manufacturing Assistance Scheme, consider the following statements. It seeks to increase India's annual domestic container manufacturing capacity to around 7.5 lakh ton equivalent units. It was clearly mentioned there, right? It provides support only for establishing new greenfield projects. No, this is wrong. This is green means New green field projects are there, plus the existing brown field projects as well. So statement 2 is wrong. When statement 2 is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this is wrong. The only option that remains over here is B, that is 1 and 3. But still, let us have a look at the third statement. It is intended to reduce import dependence and strengthen the supply chain resilience. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. So third statement is, first was correct, third was correct. The correct answer is B, 1 and 3. Next, with reference to MMDR Amendment Bill 26, which one of the following best captures the principal constitutional concern associated with it? Conflict between Parliament's power over atomic minerals and the concurrent list? No. Atomic minerals, they are saying. Okay. B, possible restrictions of state taxation powers over mineral rights and mineral bearing lands. This looks correct. Let us look at C. Transfer of all mining lease powers from state to local government. This is incorrect. Removal of Parliament's power to regulate mines under entry 54. This is also incorrect. This is also incorrect. Which is the longest statement? Option B. This is the right answer. Next, which one? Which is the longest statement? Why do I say that? Is generally when it is an explanation based questions in which you are asked to explain or tell which one of the best of the following best describes, then generally the longest statement is the right answer. However, don't use this every time. If you are left with two options, maybe then you may use this. Okay. Let's move ahead. Which one of the following best explains the significance of digital public infrastructure, DPI, in India? A, it replaces physical government institutions with exclusively online administration. No. Exclusively, this is making it extreme. It integrates digital identity, payments, connectivity, public services to enable scalable and citizen-centric governance. Seems right. Let's see the C one. It primarily focuses on promoting private digital platforms and commercial data exchange. No. It's with respect to service delivery by the government, governance, etc. It limits government services to citizens possessing smartphones and high-speed internet. It does not try to do that, right? You need smartphone and stuff, but it does not try to limit it to those people only. Of course not, right? Rather, it is ensuring that it reaches everyone. Okay. So B, it's the longest statement again, right? But this is correct. It integrates digital identity, payments, connectivity, public services to enable scalable and citizen-centric governance. Next, with reference to the government e-marketplace, consider the following statements. Statement 1. GeM digitizes the procurement lifecycle from seller registration and product listing to order fulfillment and payment, absolutely end to end, as we have seen. So this is right. Now, when this is right, option B is gone. Second, GeM enables procurement through electronic bidding and reverse auctions. Yes, electronic bidding, yes, and reverse auctions, yes. Instead of the buyer auctioning, it's the seller who tells at what price they are ready to sell. So that's correct. 3, GeM is restricted to procurement by central government ministries and departments only. No, there is no such restriction. So 3 is wrong, 2 is right, 3 is wrong. If you know 3 is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and this was anyhow wrong. But just if you just simply know this only, that it is wrong, you can still get the answer, that is A, 1 and 2 only. Right. So I hope that is clear. Now there are certain things that you should be doing immediately after watching this lecture. Please revise it. Please read the current affairs magazine which is being provided to you, to the Legacy IAS aspirants, right? Others can also get hold of it, of the current affairs that we provide on our website, right? Legacy IAS website. And please read it, please try to understand it. Whatever doubts you have, in the next class I will take those doubts up first, and then we will move ahead with the weekly current affairs as we already do. So that's about it from my end. Study well. Make sure you subscribe to Legacy IAS Academy's YouTube channel as well, because we are putting content there as well, very crucial for your UPSC journey. Thank you.